In the spring of 1914, a ship named Komagata Maru set sail from Hong Kong to Vancouver, carrying 376 passengers, all British subjects from India, most of them Sikhs from Punjab. They were not invaders, not refugees but loyal citizens of the British Empire who believed they had every right to live and work in another British land. When the ship arrived in Vancouver on May 23, 1914, what followed would become one of the darkest chapters in Canadian immigration history, a story of racism, defiance, and a voyage that exposed the hypocrisy of empire. The Komagata Maru was chartered by a man named Gurdat Singh, a wealthy businessman who wanted to challenge Canada's discriminatory immigration laws. At the time, the Canadian government enforced the Continuous Journey Regulation, a policy designed to keep out immigrants from India without naming them directly. It required anyone entering Canada to arrive via a continuous, direct journey from their country of origin, something impossible since no ships sailed directly from India to Canada. Gurdat Singh believed this was unjust. He wanted to prove that Indians, as British subjects, had equal rights under the empire. He gathered hundreds of passengers, farmers, ex-soldiers, laborers, men who dreamed of a better life across the ocean. But when the Komagata Maru reached Vancouver, Canadian officials refused to let the passengers disembark. They were trapped on the ship for 2 long months, surrounded by armed guards and naval vessels. Food and water ran low. The local South Asian community in Vancouver tried to help, sending supplies by boat, but tensions grew by the day. The Canadian press portrayed the passengers as troublemakers. Politicians called them undesirable. Onshore, mobs gathered shouting anti-Asian slogans, demanding the ship be sent back. The passengers, though exhausted, refused to surrender. They sang patriotic songs, waved flags, and held on to hope that justice might prevail. Finally, after weeks of legal battles, the courts sided with the government. The Komagata Maru was forced to leave Canadian waters on July 23, 1914. Naval guns escorted the ship out of Vancouver Harbor, a symbol of exclusion written in iron and smoke. But the story didn't end there. When the Komagata Maru returned to India, it docked at Calcutta in September 1914, just as World War I had begun. British authorities, fearing rebellion, tried to arrest the returning passengers. A confrontation broke out at Budge Budge, and gunfire erupted. At least 19 passengers were killed, many others wounded or imprisoned. The incident sent shockwaves across the world. In India, it fueled the growing independence movement. Freedom leaders cited the Komagata Maru as proof that equality under the British Empire was a myth. In Canada, the event left a deep scar, one that would take a century to heal. It wasn't until 2016 that Canada's Prime Minister officially apologized in Parliament, acknowledging the injustice done to the passengers. But for many, the memory still burns, a reminder that history is not just made by kings and generals, but by ordinary people who dared to stand up against discrimination. The Komagata Maru was more than a ship. It was a floating symbol of defiance, courage, and broken promises. Its journey exposed the cracks in an empire built on inequality, and its legacy continues to echo through the struggle for justice, immigration reform, and human dignity.